Hello, today we will be drawing animal doodles with watercolor. First of all, let's practice drawing oval shapes. So I'm going to make 3 simple oval shapes. I'm going to vary it by how long or how wide, and I have in mind these will be chicks. Okay, and now let's kind of change the oval shape's orientation, and by doing that you can create different animals. So for this bunny, I drew a wider and flatter oval for the body, and I have kind of tilted the oval for the head, and just by adding pointy ovals to the head, you created the bunny ears. Okay, so really little animals, you can simplify them into simple shapes. Now I'm going to draw a cat that's sleeping. So you can see the head is a little flatter oval, and I drew the body as a big oval, okay, and adding smaller ovals as the front legs, okay. And for the tail, I'm just doing simple curved lines. And for the ears, again, simple shapes, triangles. Okay, for the last animal, I'm going to draw a bunny that's standing up. Again, I'm just changing the orientation of my oval, and that will give you a different stance. So this time the body is going to be long, okay, because he's standing up. And I'm adding tiny little round ovals for the front legs and little one for the tail. And then there's my ears, again, pointy ovals. All right, so now after you have done the outline, you can go back and erase some of the part. Step 2, we will paint the shape with clean water. So I'm using a size 6 round brush. I'm just going to fill the bunny with water, clean water only. Not too much water that it's going to drip when you tilt the paper, but just enough water so that you have sheen on your paper. And you want to make sure you cover every part of your bunny, okay? But except for the ears, we will paint the ears directly, okay? So now it's all wet. Let's dab in the colors, okay? So now I picked up some brown, okay? And I am just dabbing in the colors for the bunny, all right? And what I have in mind is a spotted bunny. So it's gonna have some white fur as well. So I'm not going to fill in the entire bunny with this color. And also, as you can tell, animals' fur color, they have variations. So I'm picking up another brown that has more reddish tone to it, and I'm just adding it to a different part of the bunny. You can overlap a little, but make sure you leave a lot of white space if you want to have a spotted animal. All right, so the moisture that we have put in the bunny before we add the paint will allow the paint to merge gracefully, okay, without creating any harsh lines, okay. All right, let's see what else should we add. Oh, let's just paint the ears. Right, so the ears, we didn't add any water because the ears are very tiny compared to the body and the head, and you can paint them directly. Okay, and now you're done. You can try to blend a little bit by moving some of the pigment around, but resist the urge to blend them completely, or else you're not going to have much variation in your colors. Okay, so let's wait for that to dry. In the meantime, let's move on to the cat. So I'm also going to just use clean water to wet the entire cat areas, including the tail, but not the ears, because the ears are really tiny compared to the body, so we can just paint them directly. And I like to leave some place that's dry. For example, the area that's beneath the face, above the leg. That way the paint will not go there, and it will give you a more defined borders. Okay, so now I'm thinking I will have a spotted gray cat. So I'm just going to dab in the gray color. So gray is a diluted black, or if you want to have a more interesting gray, you can mix green with purple, and then you will get a very nice variation of gray. Okay, and see how I'm like really leaving some white space between areas so that the paint don't come together and become a big blob of the same color. All right, okay, now I think I'm ready for the ears. You just paint it directly instead of dabbing it in. All right, okay, now I'm going to leave it alone, and remember, before you change to other colors, you always clean your brush. Okay, and let's move on to our last bunny. Again, I am using clean brush, clean water to dab in the water. I'm just moving all the moisture around so that everywhere of the bunny is equally wet. You don't want any particular spot to be less wet or more wet. That way you can see that the paint can pull to one side instead of the other. Okay, for this one I'm going to stick with gray, but also I'm really liking the spotted look today. So again, I'm only dabbing some area, not too much. The paint will definitely travel with the water, so if you add a lot, it will definitely become a big gray bunny. Okay, so see how I'm just really very gingerly dabbing in the gray color. Okay, now I'm going to paint the ears. I'm doing one stroke, and I'm going to add pink to my ear this time so that they look more cute. Okay, see, I'm washing my brush, and I'm really taking away the excess water from my brush because your bunny already has lots of moisture, so you don't want to add too much water when you're picking up pigment. Okay, all right. See, I'm just dabbing in pink to areas I think that will look cute to have some pink in, and then you can always go back to your other animals while they're still wet. Okay, so now let's clean our brush, and we will dab away the moisture from our brush this time, and we're just going to go back and kind of smooth out the lines. Okay, so because you're letting the paint to move freely, sometimes you're just going places that you don't want them to go, or they are not going to places you want them to go. So what I'm doing right now is using my clean brush to drag the paint so that my shapes are more rounded and so that the paint is more even. So now I'm going to do the same thing to my gray cat. So, the gray bunny. So I'm just cleaning the outline. I'm not going inside the bunny area. I'm just following the outline so that it's a clean outline. Okay? Alright, after this bunny, we will do the same thing to the cat. Right? See how I'm just dragging that gray paint around so that everything is rounded and clean. Okay, almost done here. You see how the cat's face is completely gray now, even though I have dabbed very little gray paint. So that's what the wet on wet technique does. It will let the paint travel. As the moisture dry, then the paint will stop moving. Okay. Alright, I think we're done touching up with these three animals. So let's move on to the chicks. So I'm doing the same thing with clean brush, clean water, dabbing in moisture, water into the area of the oval, making sure it's evenly wet. Okay, and since these chicks are super tiny, I'm going to do all three at the same time. So I'm just repeating the process, wetting all three ovals and making sure it's wet evenly. Okay, and now they're all wet. I'm going to pick a paint color to dab in. All right, okay, clean your brush again and dab it on the paper towel so it's not super wet. And I have picked up some blue, and I'm just dabbing the bottom of the oval. Okay, I'm only doing that area because the ovals are really tiny, and if you dab any more places, it will just be a blue oval. All right, okay, so clean your brush before you move on to the next color. Let's get some orange. Okay, and I'm going to just dab one part of the oval. Okay, and the water on the paper will allow the paint to travel. Okay, all right, let's clean the brush and dab it because we don't want more moisture. Let's pick up another color. Let's see. All right, I'm picking up yellow. So yellow is a very light pigment, so you might have to get more of it for it to show. Okay, and I'm just dabbing the opposite side of the oval so that the two color will merge nicely in the middle. And if you want more mixing, you can drag the colors around, but remember, if you do too much, you just blend them all together and they'll just be a big blob of same color. Okay, all right, this one looks good. I'm going to do the last one. Okay, all right, let's see, I'm going to get red. Okay, so also just dabbing the bottom of that oval, okay, and letting the color merge. And before you blend, it's best that you clean your brush again so that the dark pigment is not there anymore. You're just trying to drag whatever color you have already inside the oval. All right, I think that looks good. Let's let it dry. I'm going to use a blow dryer to speed it up. You want to make sure it's completely dry. And now you can use a waterproof black pen or whatever color you want to add details. So it's your animal, so you can be creative. You can outline the entire animal or not. It's up to you. Sometimes you can leave some parts out. You can just outline the areas that you want to accentuate. So you're the creator, so you decide. Okay? So for me, when I'm painting these animals, every time when I finish, I look at them, I just smile. They bring me so much joy. They're just so cute, and they're each very different. And that makes me think, how our Creator is also looking at us and smiling, and we bring Him joy. And I believe that we are deeply loved by our Creator, and He is the creator of this universe. And that tells you how much you are worth to Him and to this world. Okay, so I hope you enjoy drawing these animal doodles like I did, and I pray that you will find your worth in God and know that you are loved deeply and you bring Him joy. Have a good day. Bye.